Punk Rock Elite, a podcast about NoFX. Out on the dance floor, everything's gonna be alright. Out on the dance floor, dance hall crashes tonight. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is the whole podcast this week. Ya-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da. Sorry, hi. I'm an overexcited Eddie French, and I'm joined by...
Me, Red Redmond. Hello, how are you?
You know how I am. We've just spoken to Karina Denike.
What a great episode this is. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's been a great conversation. You know, we finally had a member of NoFX on our shitty little podcast.
On this stupid little waste of time that you indulge in. Thank you for that, by the way. We love you. We've got, someone who... And do you know what? She couldn't have been more generous with her time and
Absolutely.
her stories. And it just... I mean, I don't want to put anyone off, but if you are going to be a guest on this show, you got some ruddy large shoes to fill, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a gold standard episode right here. I mean, people have got some big shoes to fill.
They absolutely do. Before we do that, let's do the normal thing. Come on, Red. How are you? Are you all right?
I'm doing all right. I've taken a week off of work. I've been in a cabin in the woods because it's the coronation of the king, and it's also been my girlfriend's birthday. So we decided to leave civilization, and it was a great idea. But how are you doing?
I'm okay. I was in. So, I was going to say I was in civilization. I wasn't. I was in England in 2023, but I was in.
Take like the Dark Ages, really, isn't it?
Really, really the Dark Ages. I was in the civilization. Do you know what my girlfriend and I did? We went to a middle class market town, thinking there probably won't be anything about the coronation here. No, we were scoping out the charity shop loot while everyone else was getting ready for a big pop concert. They had a concert in the middle in Ripon, right, which is a lovely little town, very nice place. In their little square, they had a stage getting ready. They were, can you guess? There was a tribute band that was headlining. Can you guess the band?
Queen.
Oh, in one, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
So yes,
celebrate the king with the queen.
If there was a band called King, they couldn't have a Prince one. It was just this like this. What else? Said, Duke Ellington. No, there's not a band called King. Kings of Leon. Maybe they could have had Kings of Leon, but celebrating Charles and Camilla by screaming "Sex is on fire" really loudly. Just not. No one wants that. So, but you know what? It was lovely, and we had a walk by the canal, and it was all very, very cool indeed.
I mean, that sounds very punk rock. A little lovely walk along the canal.
It was the most punk rock thing we could do while everyone else was sat in the church, pretending to enjoy this. It's once in a lifetime. Like, really? How long do you think Charles is going to live? Really? Like. I don't. On a personal level, I don't wish the man harm. But he's not a spring. It's not like when his mum got to the throne when she was like 20. Everyone went, she'll probably last a while, and she did. But So so we were having a nice time, and everyone else appeared to be having a nice time as well, which I've not got any direct issue with, but this is back to the more important thing of this particular episode, which I believe will be going out. We'll probably put it out just before NoFX play in Leeds, because this is such a coup for us. So I'm just going to see here. So this will probably. Oh, this is going out on the Monday before we go to see NoFX on Friday the 26th. So,
lovely.
All things. So we've basically, we might even listen to this episode again and get all excited because there's little tidbits of what we can expect. And anyway, let's just let you get straight on with the episode. If you've got anything to say about it, comment on Instagram, send us a DM, or punkrockelitepodcast@gmail.com. But Red, I think you should go over and do the interview, because I want to go with you, but I think I'll stay. Want to go with you, but I think I'll stay. Want to go with you, but I think I'll stay. Want to go. No, I'm coming as well.
Okay, cool. Should we do this one? Because this is a good one, and I'm so
It is a good
excited that
one.
we've been able to get this caliber of guest on our show.
I know, it's wild. So yeah, here it is straight away. And the interview is happening right now. We are here with Karina Denike. Is that correct pronunciation?
Well done. Yes. Well done.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm very pleased.
I'm
Welcome.
impressed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Karina. Really, really appreciate it. Would you mind just giving our guests a brief overview of what it is? Well, how you got to be doing what you do?
I'm a singer primarily. I was in a band called Dancehall Crashers for about 18 years. And I also now, which is no longer a band. And then now I'm in NoFX and play keyboards and sing a bunch of backups and part of that whole fun experience. And I also do a lot of other music, which I've always done anyway, on the sides and on the forefront, and write my own songs and play in lots of other bands locally in San Francisco, California, Bay Area, and record on lots of friends' albums and guest on lots of great things. No Use for a Name, Hepcat, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of Fat Records albums, Me First and Gimme Gimmes, and all kinds of extra fabulous guest spots that were really fun. And that's the quick rundown, I guess.
That is the quick rundown. That's perfect. Thank you. So it makes you one of the most appropriate guests we've ever had on. Up until now, we've been exclusively dealing with fans of NoFX for the podcast, and now we have someone, literally a member of the band. So that's been, how long has that been for? That's been
2016. I joined 2016. So I sang on quite a few of the records over the years. We toured, Dancehall Crashers toured with them. We were on the label, Fat Records label, but we were on subsidiaries versions of like Honest Dons and Pink and Black. And I sang on a bunch of their songs and albums, like I'm an Alcoholic, I'm singing backup on that, and Mattersville, and a bunch of just kind of random bits and pieces throughout the time. But now, as a full member of the band, obviously, I'm the kind of auxiliary guest person, I suppose, but I am a member of the band since 2016.
There were some likely self-effacing air quotes in there for our listeners at home, just to...
Well, I feel weird saying I'm a member of the band since they've been together for 40 years, and so I wouldn't...
Well...
It's a funny way to say it. It's like, I'm a member of the band, but then I'm not really a member of the band because it's their band, you know.
They invited you in, so if anyone's if anyone has a problem with it, it's not one of those four, so it should be all good. Thank you ever so much for this. Is sort of loosely related, but yeah, I remember very clearly, I think in about, it must have been 1999 or something, some friends of mine and we went camping to the seaside from Leeds, where we were, to Filey, which is on the east coast in the north. And that was when I was in the car with my friends Ruth and Fran. And Fran was very excited because she had just put onto, still cassette players in the cars in those days. The younger listeners yawning with their mouths closed, I hope. But she was very delighted. She was delighted because she got up extra early so she could put Purr onto a cassette for listening in the car. So, and that was the first time I'd ever heard it. So nice. I forever associate that record with
that trip.
With a little road trip of people who really probably weren't old enough to be having a responsible weekend away together. So that's particularly exciting. So we want to sort of we sort of focus mainly on NoFX for this, but don't worry, we will be putting all of your details where people can find you and your Bandcamp, where they can get your Under Glass album and stuff like that. We'll be putting that in the description too. But if you don't mind, a bit of sort of NoFX focused chat.
I mean, I might not be the best person to ask, but you go ahead. I don't know everything that I should know. But what you ask, and I'll say no comment.
We're not here for history. We might be here for dirt.
Story details.
But again, you can say no comment. But were you sort of aware of NoFX as a band before you knew them socially in the sort of the music scene?
Yeah, of course. I actually grew up in England. I don't know if you know that, but I think I did tell you that. But anyway, I grew up in England until I was 12. So I was sort of a rude girl and a punk rocker early days.
Whereabouts in England?
In Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I grew up born and raised in Cambridge, but my dad still lives in London. So I would go and see him a lot. And he was actually into punk. And so sort of like, and my older brother was really influential in music stuff that I was, then got into. So punk and ska and, the Specials and Althea and Donna and et cetera, et cetera. That's another whole thing. That's not the question you asked. But the reason I'm saying
it's fine. It is pertinent because Red and I are both strictly roots. So
oh yeah. You're wearing your khaki suits.
I'm sat in my heels and ting right now.
Rolling down in your Benz. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of my background, really kind of ska heavy and new wave, some new wave stuff, but, Susie and the Banshees and kind of English punk rock stuff, from that time. I'm old. So yeah, early 80s and that's all I'll say. And then I moved to California where Gilman Street, kind of into Berkeley, Gilman Street. So that was sort of Operation Ivy, Fishbone, kind of ska punk scenes there, which, I mean, Fishbone's LA, but Operation Ivy was Bay Area, San Francisco, Berkeley, which is where I was. And that's where Dancehall Pressure started. So anyway, long story short, I was aware of NoFX. Yes, I was. Of course, I was into them. But I sort of had, where Californians kind of grew up with, they're more of a California scene. I kind of had still felt attached to like the Specials and Madness and the Selector and I said, Althea and Donna, Toots and Maytals and things that were a bit more, kind of my sort of growing up years and my rude girl years. And the Clash and things like that. So and Susie. And so coming into the California scene, it was a bit of a different thing. Because it wasn't my initial kind of, how your influences get really stuck in a sort of time period for you where like the nostalgia is really goes with you for the rest of your life, really. Right. So yes, I totally knew who NoFX was. And as we were playing more shows, and being more involved in the scene, and especially like I lived around the corner from Gilman Street Project. So, yeah, but so it was like very close to there. So we would go there a lot, and I got much more into the California kind of punk scene that way. And so at that point, that's when I kind of knew about NoFX, of course. And they're brilliant. And then Dancehall Crashers toured with them a bunch. We did Europe tour with them. We did Reading Festival Europe in England, and and did a bunch of tours with them and had a brilliant time. And so even before that, before touring with them, of course, I knew who they were and all that. But it was a different, more English kind of coming in rather than California.
Cool, thank you. We have this sort of list of questions that we ask everyone who comes on. So they're none of these have been designed to catch anyone out. They're just the sort of little. It's like inside the actor's studio. It's like that. It's got those questions at the end. So just basically, but the good thing is that we get to ask you this from sort of two perspectives. So, do you have a favorite NoFX song?
I had a feeling you were going to ask me that.
And the Karina bonus question is, what's your favorite song to perform
That's
as a part of NoFX.
That's a great little addendum.
I've twisted it, Red. What's what I've done?
Speaking of, I'm getting a call right now from our sound guy. Oh God, my favorite NoFX song. That's a very hard question. I mean, I think it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm really loving Marxist Brothers because we haven't played that until
Nice,
now
yeah.
as a live thing. Even though personally, I'm not playing on it a ton myself. Meaning, I'm playing some keyboards, but I'm not. I don't sing on it very much. And so, as far as that's concerned, I just love that song. I think it's totally brilliant.
It is great, that one.
Mike is a brilliant songwriter. It's just I kind of always floor it, to be honest. It's like it's a constant, especially as we're getting all these songs together for this tour. You know, learning all kinds of things that we never play and they've never played and live, and so that's kind of my maybe current favorite at the moment, just because we just started playing it live, and I just think it's brilliant. And
that's great.
Yeah, another song I love just because I sang on it and I think it's a pretty great song is "I'm an Alcoholic." I love singing "Eat the Meek" always, and I would say "Bruise." I love "Bruise." Can't help it. You know, I'm Jewish, and I just think it's hilarious and brilliant. And obviously, growing up in English skinhead punk scene thing, it's just like very funny, that oi 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 thing. So I remember the first time. I think that was one of the first songs where when I heard NoFX initially that I kind of got it. Like, oh, they're not just doing this Californian punk thing that I didn't quite understand yet, the skate punk thing, which a lot of bands were more serious and they weren't, or just not as funny or not as sort of intelligent, kind of sardonic and lyrics. Like I kind of think that was one of the first songs that got me like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. And just the fact that, Jews and, Hefe being Latino and stuff, it's nice. It's not just white boys, in a band. Yeah. Which has a lot. And the fact that we've always had this rainbow flag to me is brilliant. The fact that they're all straight men essentially. And then they have this rainbow flag posted there. And we've always had that for years with Limo, the old keyboard player, put that up there. But anyway, as far as songs are concerned, those are my favorites at the moment.
That's amazing. And also, I think it's great to thank you for those answers. They're great. Plenty that we've not had before as well, and all of them absolute bangers in my opinion.
And we'll be hearing the Marxist Brothers when we go to the Leeds date, because that's on Wolf, right?
That's on Wolves. Yeah.
It's hard.
Excellent.
It's really hard to play.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, not so much for me, but it's hard to play and sing because it's not, just like the bass line and the kind of ska rhythm and but lyrically, I just think it's brilliant. And,
That's also a brilliant point about the real celebration of diversity that sort of permeates NoFX's stuff. Red and I are both non-binary individuals, and so as such, the rainbow flag and stuff like that does cause a flutter in our hearts as well. So that's
it's
very
a big
nice
deal. Nobody's doing that, especially. I mean, I just felt like the '90s. As far as I was concerned, it felt very machismo, and as a woman in the scene, nobody was that weird to us. I mean, except for maybe non-musicians were, for sure. We got a lot of shit and a lot of flack, and it was difficult. End up writing a lot of kind of pro-feminist lyrics at the time because it was not, you're just basically surrounded by white dudes, and it was a fair amount of that energy, even if musicians themselves were not that way, and some of the bands, of course, people were pretty great, but I mean, just to have this other representation and to push that representation, whether or not it's, because they're white, straight men. I mean, they're not white, but I mean, not all of them, but I'm just saying because they're straight men, to have this flag, I just think is incredible. It's like, do it. Yeah. Fight for abortion and fight for women's rights and fight for, everybody's equal rights. And the fact that they were doing that when a lot of other bands were not talking about anything political in the 90s. Here anyway. In
Yeah.
England, maybe a little bit different, but not here, not in California. Things were really good in the 90s. It's like people were, you were able to like make money on music for a change, because you could produce your own CDs, which was that window of time where people were leaving like major labels, starting their own labels like Fat Records and Epitaph. And you could actually make money and tour. And, it was cheap to tour, all the things that, aren't as easy now, again, for different reasons. Like no one wants to buy music. Brexit happened.
Didn't it just?
Anyway.
Do you know what? Brexit comes up on this podcast far more than Red and I would like it to. But
absolutely,
it really has ruined everything.
Fucking nightmare.
Absolute fucking nightmare. You're not wrong. It's absolutely true. But no, it does seem like there was a sort of a golden. I think it wasn't actually NoFX who. I remember seeing an interview with Alkaline Trio, and Matt Skiba said that. I think it was. He said he was really impressed when he saw Jawbreaker, because he said it was the first time I thought you could make music that sounded like that wasn't about girls or pizza. And just like a sort of that, like lyrical content could be something with a bit more substance to it. It could be about a haunted motorbike or other stuff that Matt Skiba appears to enjoy, which I'm all for. But yeah, so that's thank you so much. That's brilliant. Similar vein, but do you have a favorite NoFX album? And is there or I'll give you an option here, or are there albums that you're looking forward to playing in their entirety or being involved in, and albums that you're more not looking forward to? Sorry, say again, Red.
Albums that are more favorable.
Or more favorable, or ones that you find more tricky, maybe, or more taxing.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. There's a little window of time where there's not a whole lot for me to play on, like ribbed and stuff like that. There's not tons of parts for me to play. I'm going to probably side with well, the last 4 albums that we just played. Oh, it's hard to say. God damn it. Pump Up the Volume. I love. I love Wolves. I love So Long. I love White Trash. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that I really love one more than the other. I think that, again, I have personal favorite songs within each record. So, I'm terrible at this kind of thing. In general, I can't ever tell you of my favorite artists. Is maybe the favorite album, but maybe 1 or 2. But I don't know. I can throw out one just to say it, but it's like I don't even know.
Whatever you like.
Sure, I'm just old right now, but I mean, I'm I'm on Coaster as well, and I'm on the War on Errorism. So I have like some, I like those records too. I think Pump Up the Volume is pretty great. I think Wolves. I would say these 4 albums which we just played are in my top. So that's Wolves and White Trash and So Long and Pump Up the Volume. And I have a hard time deciding on one. I'm sorry.
It's fair.
We can say any of them if you need to put that on a list somewhere.
Look, we're not. We don't have a spreadsheet. It's fine. We're we do have one spreadsheet, but that's not for this question. We'll get to that. But was that in Austin?
Yeah, we just had a few days in Austin of practice, and then we played 2 records on one night and the other 2 records on the other night. And every show is going to be different. So it's like, we're playing in San Diego this weekend, and we're playing. I think we're playing Wolves and Decline. Definitely playing the Decline. So, and every show that we're going to be doing on this tour is going to have a different variation of whatever we're working on. So we're covering a lot of material, and every show is different. It's about 36 to 40 songs that we're doing per night. It's a lot.
Amazing.
And
so
in terms of like band practice, is there like an emphasis on, like, do they want the band like really tight? Like, do you practice until the songs are super tight, or is there like
no comment?
Right. Okay. Sure. Fair. Because I would imagine they want it to be a little bit loose in places, or
No, I mean, ultimately they like to be tight when we can get it as tight as possible. But some of these songs
Sure.
are pretty hard. Some of these songs are, I think, where I think there's definitely been like a, ooh, this is hard. You know,
Sure.
especially to play and sing songs that you've never played, and then to do that live. You know, maybe a song from 20 or 30 years ago that was never played live, and possibly if you've done things in the studio where you play in a great bass line and then you've sung later, maybe, or something. Like there's, you know, some songs end up being studio songs. It doesn't, even if they're not intended to be initially, but they end up kind of like, oh, let's layer a thing and let's do a thing and add like 5 harmonies on, like, you know, Monday is my favorite time of year or something. Is like, and all those parts are really difficult. Like Hefe is trying to like play the crazy chord progression that is going fast and sing these out of time, you know, backups. You know, I'm not, I can sing backup with him, but you know, there's some tricky stuff. So we're trying to get it as tight as possible for sure. Those guys are great musicians, and they really hold themselves to high standards. And they're like, no, I got to get it perfect. So for sure. But it's no effects. It's always going to have a little bit of, you know, fun and looseness. But that's not the intention to like not play it well. That's never an intention.
Of course. Yeah.
So I mean, and when they, you know, when we're rehearsing, we're really trying to get it down. Yeah. You know, Smelly's badass. They're keeping it together, you know. Yeah.
I remember I saw them once. I think it was at a Leeds festival, and they played Rico, but Mike said, Melvin's playing bass for this one because I can play the bass line or sing it, but not both. So so he swapped instruments
they
for the
always
song.
Do, that always happens.
So so already they were, you know, even back, I mean, that might have been 15 years ago, maybe. Even then, they were already sort of going, well, let's just tip the balance a little bit so we can actually do this one live. And so, you know, with the swapping about, because I understand they've got, is it one of the guitar techs who's also playing sort of a bit of third guitar?
Yeah, John Graber is a great musician and also an audio engineer and producer, and worked on single album and double album as well, and did some recording. And he's been doing a lot of work with Mike on and off over the last few years, basically since the pandemic actually started. And he's great, and he's doing a lot of audio work for us anyway, on stage and monitors and production and recording and things like that. So and he's a killer ska guitar player, and it's great to have this extra. I mean, you know, if you watch anything like any old live shows, like things like The Decline, there's always usually somebody that comes up and plays guitar at the end so that Hefe can play trombone.
Oh yeah.
We need the 2 guitars, but then you know, ba, 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 we needed that second guitar going. Otherwise, it'll be kind of, you know, you've got a lead guitar part and a rhythm guitar part and the horn, so he can't play both. So there's always been times when certain songs, or if there's somebody around that can come in and play something. Like we just did Doornails, and Stacey D came up and played acoustic guitar for that.
Oh, great. You
know, so whenever it's like a little bit of, it makes sense, for sure, we'll add another person. And Graber's amazing. John is amazing ska guitar player, among other things. Yeah. Keyboardist.
I saw him because I think it was on Instagram. There was a video. Yeah. Someone was stood next to Smelly's kit and then filming him, and it was great. He was. I think he was singing as well. He was like, "Wow, really, really great idea to get this guy in." And
he's amazing
because it sounded so good. It was on, was it 180 degrees or something like that? It was great. But I mean, so it just felt. Obviously, some people were disgusted at the idea, but that's the world we live in. But I just thought, what a great idea!
It's not all the songs. It's like it'll be like
exactly.
2 songs that we and it'll be because somebody, like if Hefe's playing horn, he can't do both. Like he can't play horn and guitar at the same time. And
I thought it was a really great thing of
It'll be like
there's
sections of the song, and Graeber's not singing. He'll sing along because he knows every
okay.
single No Effect song.
Fair
He's
enough.
like such an amazing.
Right.
He knows all the lyrics, so he'll be like, "No, you guys are singing the wrong lyrics." Yeah, to the guys, like all the time. Like, and he knows all the chords. He's like badass musician, and he knows
Handy
like
to have around.
yeah, and he's like you're playing that wrong. No, but he's not singing on the live shows. He's just singing along because he's excited.
Oh right,
Yeah.
I must have imagined the microphone. He was
Well,
giving
there
it
might
so
be a
much.
microphone, but that's because we communicate with each other too. So, yeah. So there's some communication on stage.
Right.
Like he has to communicate with
Those
front
are
of house. Yeah, with our inner monitor.
your in-ear monitor
Yeah.
things and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we have
it's
to be
all
like,
becoming.
hey, we can't. If he's talking to the front of house to Kent, who's doing front of house sound, it might be like hey, there's an issue with a blah blah blah, and the.
Oh, okay. All
so
right.
we
No, because
we can hear Graeber and we can hear Kent and we can hear Smiley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, because I just thought they were while he's playing, he might as well sing as well. I was happy with the idea because it just made it really showed a sort of a level of effort that's gone into this sort of last tour.
Yeah.
Where there are these sort of additions that if you'd have told them 20 years ago, they might have gone, why would we do that? It's sort of it's one of those progressions which is really, really appealing. But
yeah, I mean, I think Mike is really good at pushing himself and pushing the band and pushing his music and everything that he does. This punk rock museum, everything. He really he's a creative force. It's intense. Like he's a nonstop creative force. And he's like, this is what we're doing. We're doing every show's gonna be different. We're doing every album, every damn song, 40 years, 40 songs, 40 shows. He has his plan. He has an idea, and then we all have to like, okay, let's get it. Let's all get it done. And but he's pushing himself. He's pushing all of these guys, all of us to do these shows. Like, well, we're gonna learn all these songs and make sure we cover every single one, or whatever. But
this is really whetting my appetites for when we come and see you all in Leeds. So
Absolutely,
we were already excited. It's not like we were already definitely positive on this, but this it sounds wonderful. Hello everyone, Eddie here. Red and I hope you're enjoying our show. If you have been and would like to help us make it a little more easily, then you can donate to us at our Ko-fi page, which is ko-fi.com/punkrockelite, or you can look in the show notes for our link tree. If you can't help us financially, we totally understand, but would love it if you spread the word to other people who would like this podcast. We thank you for your continued support. We massively appreciate it. Back to the show. Do you have a favourite No Effects lyric?
Oh, God.
You can send John a text if you need to.
No, I mean, a favorite No Effects lyric. I mean, like I said, I feel like Marxist Brothers right now is one of my favorite songs. So maybe something in that, because there's some good ones. Oh, that or Bruise probably are some of my favorite, like, little one-liners. I mean, I took the bus to the Anarchist book fair and left the hybrid at home. I mean, those are funny to me. Those are funny to me. Like, those kinds of lyrics are just hilarious to me. I scored an extremely rare copy of, Manifesto, like just stuff that's just. I'm terrible with like this is like, if you ask me what my favorite color is, I couldn't tell you. I'm one of those people that can't be like, that's too much pressure to say one thing is my favorite. I would probably say something from Marxist Brothers or Bruise right now, because I like his humor. To me, especially if you're kind of commenting on anything political or, or just making fun of yourself. I love his like transvestite lyric, which I think is pretty hilarious too, from the newer albums that were. Another song I forgot to say that I loved is Fish in a Gun Barrel, which I don't know if that kind of was a release that came out. Yeah. I love that song. And actually, that's one of my favorite lyrics, I would say, is Only a Lunatic sells a lunatic a gun.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lyrics from that song.
Yeah. It's succinct, and just wish it didn't have to be a lyric that existed, but
Exactly. But it puts the onus back on the people that are pretending to have it, not be on them. It's like, you're the lunatic because you sold the lunatic a gun. It's like, stop blaming the lunatic only for the fact that they can get a gun from you. I mean, and we're obviously so fucked right now in the States. It's like every day we're getting one. Another mass shooting.
It's wretched.
So that might be one of my favorite lyrics. I'll put that in there.
It's a great choice. It's funny, we do episodes where we discuss each go through each album and sort of have a deep dive on it, and we've just recorded White Trash the other day. And the last 3 songs you didn't realize go Johnny Appleseed, She's Gone, and then Buggly Eyes. And it's like there's these 2 daft Hefes doing a silly voice songs,
right?
And then She's Gone, which is absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh my!
But somehow it doesn't feel out of place. Like I don't know. Weird, it was they work. But unusual.
And
love
so
love that song. That's really fun to do that one live.
Oh, I saw you 3 practicing the harmonies again on Instagram, and it made me hugely, because we get to see White Trash, so we'll be seeing that at Leeds, and absolutely it is one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorite NoFX songs.
So good.
This you're gonna hate this question. Do you have a favorite memory of NoFX?
I actually do have one that's going to jump out. I can't say these ones are my favorite, but there's one that's jumping out that I'll just
whichever one jumps out. Yeah, great.
Which is we played with the Misfits. Dancehall Crashers opened for NoFX, and I want to say it was in Copenhagen, but it might have actually been. This is like 19. Oh, I'm terrible at years too. I think it was like 98 or something, or 9. And we played in this tiny club, and it was small for some reason. And we opened for NoFX and the Misfits. And it was kind of just like the most random. We were in this it was like probably like 500 size club, or it felt even smaller than that, but like maybe 300 to 500. Like, I don't know why we were in such a small club. And then Mike got on stage with them and sang with them. And I do have some photographs from them that I have to drag out. And also just going backstage and seeing them like working out. And how big they were. I'm not one of those people that's afraid very much. I've lived in I lived in bad neighborhoods. I've traveled a lot. I'm not a very afraid person, but I have to say I was actually kind of a little bit afraid of them. Just like on seeing them in person and how big they were, like in real life, like their muscles, and they're just working out like backstage. Just really, I was like, what the hell? And just to kind of see that in person, and then getting their stage show on, and then Mike being so excited and getting on stage with them, and I don't know why for some reason that sticks out in my head, because it was just really random.
That is
small.
That really is weird.
Why are we here with the Misfits? No, it doesn't make no sense. That's one that pops out.
I'm still trying to put Dancehall Crashers and Misfits on the same bill, and
it made no sense.
It's I'm having to crowbar one of them really hard to get the other one. It's that's wild. That's incredible.
It definitely felt like legendary. This is a moment I will always remember like this. But it's so weird, because we weren't touring with them either. It was just this one date that we did with them. It was really strange. Maybe we did 2 dates, but that was the weirder one for me. I remember just being like, we're in a small club with Misfits and
in Copenhagen.
In Copenhagen. What is happening? Really strange.
That is a pinch me. This must be some sort of fever dream. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Were you still lightly afraid? Did you speak to the Misfits? Did they make you feel any less frightened?
They were nice, but they were intimidating. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
feel intimidated very much, actually. Like I said, I don't feel like, I don't feel intimidated by people per se, or, probably a couple of my, huge heroes I would be for sure. But,
Yeah.
but for some reason they're so kind of larger than life. In reality, they're larger than life. It's just, it's not just like, oh my God, it's the Misfits. Like you just, there's also kind of like a physically larger than life that kind of just feel very, so I did feel, I was not afraid at the end, but I definitely I was like, well, you're kind of scaring me a little bit. I'm just going to go back.
Well, that's I suppose the with a band like Guar or something, there's an awful lot of like sort of platforms and sort of costumes and stuff where it's like, no, we are our own costumes, thanks.
But actually, Guar, and they come to our shows. They come see us play, and they're so sweet, so sweet. Like, that's why it's funny. It's like, that's kind of what I'm used to, is like the feeling of like, it's Guar, blood, and they're like, hey, how's it going? Like, so nice backstage. You're just kind of confused by where I didn't feel that way with them, the Misfits. That's why I was like, oh, they're a little scary. Yeah, totally fine, totally nice, not mean or anything.
We've got a bit of a weird question. It's what do you think is the best way to sort of introduce a non-fan to NoFX?
I mean, I sort of feel like they're pretty diverse musically, actually, much more so than, many of our other favorite bands that are also great. But, the Ramones are pretty, it's one sound, and you're going to get that sound the whole time. So I think I would try to kind of figure out, it's just the way my mind works, I guess, but what that person might like, whether they like kind of more of a kind of ska reggae sound, like Eat the Meek, and, whether they have a sense of humor. To me, Mike's lyrics are obviously just so humorous that I kind of go that direction a little bit, just so that they don't think, and I tell them to read the lyrics, actually, because I think that a lot of times, something like, for example, Bruise, if you're not listening to the lyrics properly, you just think it's it's an oi skinhead song. That's what you think, which is what's so funny about it. Or they might think it's just, kind of lyrically just a bit bland. And so the Decline is intense, but I don't know that that's for everybody. I think it's for NoFX fans or people that are really interested in listening to 18 minutes and getting into something. So I might not use that one. I think I would pick, maybe not some of their joke songs, because those are fun. And again, if you know the band, then you know that it's a good, like, Johnny Appleseed or something like that. I wouldn't pick that, but I would probably pick, something like Bruise, or with the lyrics, or Marxist Brothers, or, I mean, everybody loves Linoleum. It's a great song. So I think I would gear it to the person a little bit. Like Fish in a Gun Barrel, I think, is a genius song, and it's not, it hasn't been a big release. It's been a smaller release, but I think it depends on what the person likes, and I would sort of gear it a little bit to what they might, if they like kind of more hardcore punk or something, then I would pick something.
Perfect.
Something else.
That's great. Thank you very much. We've got 2 questions left. One is a big, sort of quite a big question, and another one is a very sort of a small question, really, but some people struggle. So we'll go with what do you think will be NoFX's legacy? Yeah, I know.
Well, I think they have pioneered some California political punk that has its own, sound and flavor, and I think they're a lot more diverse and more interesting than a lot of other bands. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Again, things like Leaving Jesus Land is one of my favorite songs that I forgot to mention. Is, again, lyrically, to me, pretty great. It is, that's a perfect song that kind of represents a California point of view, which growing up in England, that was a bit foreign to me. But if you understand what it's like to live here in the States, and if you understand what it's like to be in California, and especially, in the 90s and then through our, Bush years and our Trump years. So I think their legacy, I hope their legacy is, and I think it will be, a pretty good representation of some of the diversity of punk rock, actually, sound wise, lyrically, because there were some joke songs. I think a lot of people that don't know them just kind of think they're a joke band or something like that, which is because they're so funny on stage, and they are so funny on stage. So, I mean, I can't, every night it's a complete different comedy show. I've been seeing them for however many years as a touring with them without being in the band, and then being in the band, and it's every night, it's just different, constant comedy. So I think Mike has been really invested in the scene and in the community of punk, even just doing this museum that he just, that just started up. And I think he's incredibly invested in the history. They are kind of, they're legendary. They know everybody. They know they were in the early punk scene of LA, which was very violent. And now kind of changed into a different thing in the 90s, and now is again a different thing. I think they are going to kind of capture a window of time, the kind of mid 80s until now, of California punk, but a pretty diverse version of it, instead of it kind of being, like some of our other AFI and Alkaline Trio and Lagwagon. I think they're all amazing bands, but they kind of fall into like one, a bit more of a singular genre, I would say. And I think that they doing some ska and punk, and then doing some more heavy rock, and then doing these kind of fun things. I think we got a pretty big wide genre, and him wearing a dress on stage. I mean, all kinds of things that are pushing boundaries. They've been doing that. I think that's really impressive. Kill All the White Man. What a great song.
Yeah.
No other like a band around here would sing that. It's hilarious, and it's genius, and it's funny, and it's pushy, and I think that they have really pushed boundaries, and I hope they get that respect. They should get that respect. And they're great musicians. They're a great band.
Absolutely. I remember, it's a while ago now, but a Canadian white supremacist group petitioned the government to ban NoFX from coming to Canada on tour, citing Kill All the White Man, saying, well, if we can't go around saying our nonsense, then why are they allowed to say theirs? And that was the day white supremacy was destroyed forever.
Yeah. Thankfully, it worked, yes.
Yeah, thank goodness. White supremacy free since 2012. So we have come, Karina, thank you so much for this. We've come to what may be the most difficult question.
Yeah.
Particularly for you.
Big question.
But we have asked this to everybody else, so we will ask you.
It's my favorite color, isn't it?
It's your favorite color, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's
the tough questions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's who is your favorite member of NoFX?
Oh, you can't ask me that. me, of course.
Oh, perfect.
Very good.
There you go. Woo!
Good save.
Dodge that one.
Absolutely.
I truly, and I'm not just saying this, I truly have a really good friendship with each one of them.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
I get to like hang out with each of them in different, I go to dinner with so-and-so on tour. I go hang out, I don't live close to them. So we mostly just see each other on the road and rehearsals and tour. don't get to see. I used to hang out with Mike a lot when he lived in San Francisco, and also with Melvin, but neither of them live here anymore. I feel like I have really good one-on-one relationships with each of them. And so I can't say there's a favorite. I really can't say. They're sweeties. They're really nice.
Yeah.
They're funny. They're they're awesome, and I do genuinely mean that. I'm not just saying that, but yes, I'm obviously my favorite member.
Of course you are. Absolutely. You get it, Queen. No, thank you so much. We asked that to everybody because, yeah. Oh, you dodged that one. That was like
I
the
know,
Matrix. You flew over backwards. The
yeah.
bullets went straight over you, back straight up again. Brilliant. Yeah, no, we ask everyone that, and it's been a much more fan centric sort of, people who go, oh well, I think we'd interviewed 8 people before there's anyone who'd even sort of said hello to any member of the band in person. So
Yeah.
this is you're really a step up in that regard.
There you go.
Is there anything non-NoFX that you would like to direct our listeners towards?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been working on, I write my own songs, and I do lots of fun, lots and lots of projects with different groups and different people. I've been doing a new little thing with Jesse Wagner and Alex Desert from Hepcat and Agrolites that I'm working on right now, which is super fun. I write my own music, and I put out an album called Under Glass. It's been a while now, but I'm working on some new recordings and new originals, and that's on Bandcamp. And I have vinyl that I sell. I'm not on a label at the moment for that, but I would say, yeah, check out my website's a bit outdated, but KarinaDenike.com. I'm on all the socials and kind of posting as projects are getting done. I'm posting them up. I did some stuff with Mikey and his uke, which are these kind of fun videos. Did Ramones cover.
You cosplayed Joey Ramone, yeah.
No way.
We did a fake. Yeah, it was pretty. I was like, you know what? I've got the hair. I mean, look at this scrappy black scruffy hair. So put on a leather jacket, and it was easy.
You were playing.
I look kind of like Joey Ramone. Turned out.
You were playing the was it a xylophone or a glockenspiel?
It's a vibraphone. I have a vibraphone. So it's a nice, which I play on Mattersville as well. That's me playing on Mattersville. I also did a lot of recording for Mike's Home Street Home musical that he was writing. So I was a big part of kind of workshopping all those vocals. Now different people ended up singing them, but me and Stacey D were doing a lot of the vocals on that, and a guy named Billy Bouchard, who was in Water Dog and then also in Dancehall Crashers for a while. So, but I guess just kind of follow my posts and see what's coming up, because there's a lot of projects in the works.
I'd also just like to add is something which I really enjoyed is the podcast, The Electronic Lover.
Wow, you check that out. That's a weird one.
Yeah, really weird, but that's a musical podcast that you're one of the cast.
That's an
it is weird,
one.
but don't put it on in the background. Give it a proper listen.
It's brilliant. Lisa Metzacapa did the music, and Beth Lessig, who's a great writer, and she's an author. She's one of my favorite authors. She's super funny. And yeah, that's brilliant. And it's hard. It was really hard to learn that. It's like, it's great modern music. So I do lots of things. I'm in a band called Red Room Orchestra that does all these soundtracks. We do Twin Peaks soundtracks. So there's a lot of things I'm doing, and then my originals, of course, are things that I, feel, I love. So working on those too. But
and
I'm
the Cottontails as well.
Cottontails is a kind of we do a lot of early 20s, 30s, 40s American music. So kind of Billie Holiday era and Duke Ellington and Fats Waller. So a little earlier than even that. So I do a lot of that stuff. I'm about to release some recordings of that era of songs. So they're covers, but they're that era, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Amazing.
Early American songbook, early jazz kind of stuff. So yeah, keeps my chops up.
Phenomenal. And what chops they are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate this. And as a recommendation for if you're not familiar with Dancehall Crashers, you could do a lot worse than start with their Show Must Go Off DVD recording. I am DVD. Look at me.
I know.
suggesting that youth go and buy DVDs. Why don't you buy some physical media like your granddad used to?
That's
No,
bad.
Karina, thank you. You truly are one of the punk rock elite. Thanks so
Oh,
much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
please, you're so welcome. Thank you so much. Ça very much.
What luckies we are.
Absolutely. We're lucky. You're lucky. We're all lucky.
We're up just absolute luck sluts right now. That's, by the way, if you want that to be the name or the nickname we give our listeners, if you'd like to be referred to as the luck sluts, then just let us know. # luck sluts.
One of my favorite fan names recently is I was talking to comedian Finn Taylor on his recent tour show. Fantastic comedian, particularly if you like your comedy edgy without it being Nazi-y.
Oh.
I would definitely recommend Finn Taylor. He's a fantastic stand-up comedian. But he was recently told on Twitter that his fans are now referred to as Fincels, and it has entertained him no end.
That's something, isn't it? Yeah, that's absolutely. Well, luckily, I don't think our fans have behaved in such a way that any nickname like that would come along. But we're not here to talk about nicknames. Although # luck sluts, I'm all for it. What an interview! Absolutely. I don't know if you could tell. I'm something of a fan of.
I think you played it cool. I think it's fine.
Cool.
Hey, also top marks for getting the pronunciation of Karina's last name right first time. I think that's good research on your part.
Well, yes, I try my best. I'm basing that, I think, in the liner notes of one of the albums that she's on. It's either like one of the before she joined, so it'd be Coaster or maybe War on Errorism.
Yeah,
it has a phonetic spelling which is DUH, like duh.
yeah.
Knee as in the leg joint, and then K as I think it's just KAY or something. But yeah,
Sure.
pardon me. And so I based it on that, and apparently, I assume she gets Denike all the time, but she didn't get Denike with us. She was incredibly forthright. And you know what? Now, this means, as of recording, Hefe still doesn't have a vote for favourite member, but Karina does. That's going to sting, isn't it? That's.
Hey, I mean, like Hefe joined a little bit later. No,
later than Karina.
Yeah, I realize as I'm saying it, I'm just digging myself a bigger hole.
Look, it's that question is only designed to be silly. I don't know if you've checked. I don't know if you've noticed by now, but certainly it's a shame. It's a shame that one wasn't filmed because the look on her face as we asked her, we might as well have said, why don't you choose one of your siblings to survive? It was honest. It was that she was that scandalized, but bless her. Wonderful. So pleased with that episode. Still in a light amount of shock, I'm going to say. I'll probably have difficulty dropping off tonight because there'll be adrenaline and whatnot going on. But do go and check out all of Karina's projects. If you like music, then there'll be something she does that you'll dig on. She's one of those.
Absolutely. And I just, want to extend another thank you to Karina because I think she was so generous with her time. And, we got such insight into the band, particularly on this new tour.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate the effort that's gone into this one.
Yeah. The little drips of behind the scenes content that she was putting into our IV for us, that's really going to be keeping us going. I'm super excited to see this show now because I think it's going to be unlike any previous NoFX show,
more so than ever. And also, I think I might be so I think you mentioned that we're going to be seeing White Trash in Leeds, but I don't think that we are. I think that we're seeing Punk in Drublic and Wolf in Wolf's Clothing.
You're absolutely right.
Mm,
It's White Trash and So Long at Hatfield.
it is.
Oh.
Which
Wow.
I'll openly admit now, hey, I know that the only people that listen to this are going to be fans of NoFX. I'm regretting not getting tickets to both.
So am I. But, you know, there might be tickets still available. It's just whether I can afford them or not. That's the thing. Still, you could go to coffee.com/punkrockelitepodcast if you really think... No, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. No.
Leave it in.
I'll leave it in, sure. I'll leave it in, but act as if I'm disgusted with myself. No, seriously though, there have been a couple of donations that you can find through the link tree in the show notes and stuff, and we do appreciate all of those. And they do essentially just go into sort of making this. And that's absolutely fine, and we're happy with that. If Red and I win on the scratch cards in the next couple of weeks, then maybe we'll treat ourselves to a Hatfield. But until then, we'll just have to make do. It's okay.
We can but dream.
Of course. You can't have everything, and that includes NoFX forever. So,
I'm sad now.
I know, I'm sad as well. But yeah, just so pleased with this episode. This is awful, isn't it? We've just had me talking over everyone for an hour, and then me going, I thought that was brilliant personally. What? This has gone from the best episode to the worst episode we've ever done, just like that. I can't believe what I've done here. Anyway.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But yeah, gosh, what a joy. Again, thank you to everyone for listening.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back with an album that I don't know yet. Don't know what it's going to be, but we'll find out. Thank you ever so much. Thank you, Red, for joining us on this adventure.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to the live shows more than ever now.
Really, this really has got me in a watching NoFX live mood. So thank you very much. If you have anything you'd like to add, dear listener, then punkrockelitepodcast@gmail.com, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Punk Rock Elite. It was a Pick Scraped and Fruitcake co-production by Eddie French and Red Redmond. If you're not following us on Instagram or subscribed to the podcast, please do. The main theme and production was done by Eddie French. Please contact us at punkrockelitepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you.